Hey,
not
Pablo.
I'm not technological. I'm analogical completely.
Good. Yes, I prefer everything analog. Um, First of all, congratulations on the movie. It's such a beautiful story that just appeals across, well, everyone.
Thank you.
Um, I mean, so many people assume just because it's a cartoon, it's for kids. It can be for young kids,
Yeah.
but this appeals across every audience. I'm curious. My first question: what was the script for this movie like? Because if I recall, is there no dialogue?
Yes, yeah. The thing that the film is made based on a graphic novel that
Mhm.
doesn't have dialogue. That's what attracted me. This is my second film without dialogue. I made a film 10 years ago called Blancanieves that it was released in the States and represented Spain for the Oscars. So it was also like a great roller coaster adventure. And even if you make a script, this is my second script without dialogue. It looks the same as any other script because at the end, the powerful of the script is the story itself and the characters. The dialogue is the whipped cream. For me, that's the easy part is the dialogue, honestly. So it just looks the same. It really the only thing is that in this case it doesn't have dialogue, but you have interior locations, and you have to describe every action that the characters do. Basically the characters explain themselves from what they do, not what they say.
Yeah, the emotions were so easy to read with all of these characters. And while there may be no directly spoken dialogue, there are actors for the characters. Can you explain how that worked?
Well, definitely. The thing is that in the case, it's an anthropomorphic film, so all the characters are animals, and we they had to do actions to explain themselves. This is my most personal film, so I'm dog. I was a lonely dog in New York. I live in an apartment in the East Village. I fell in love. I broke my heart, fell in love again, made friends, left friends. So, you know, what the important thing is that what they do is what is important. What no, not what the characters say. If there's a big difference between the film and the book, is that in the film there are few characters, which are the main characters, but for me, New York had to be a protagonist on the film, and the New Yorkers. New Yorkers are important part of New York, so a lot of the characters in the background are as important in this film and the one that they're in the foreground.
The film is so emotional. I mean, it's about friendship and loss, and it's you can just feel the emotion coming off the screen, especially when I don't want to give too much away if people watching this haven't seen it. When Robot is in his dilemma on the beach,
Yeah.
and all the feelings, and Dog is trying to do whatever he can, and those feelings are so palpable, and it's so how did you lean into those emotional moments and let the because I feel so much animation that we've seen or so much in your face, in your face, ADD, right? This movie stops to allow you to think, feel, and process and really feel. So, can you tell me where you look to enhance the emotional aspects?
Well, I'm happy that you felt all those things, because in general there's a prejudice towards animation, like animation is only for children. And of
Mhm.
course, animation can be for children, but also for cinephiles, for adults. And animation is, many people think is just for comedy or for action,
Mhm.
but you can express emotion. And that's what interests me about this. I wanted to make a very emotional film, an emotional roller coaster ride. If we look at Japanese animation and if we think about Ghibli and Miyazaki and Takahata, we will see a tradition of telling complex stories and very emotional stories and adult stories. And that's what I was looking for. And the graphic novel attract me because of the theme. It talk about friendship, relationships, the fragility of relationships, how we overcome loss with the use of memory, mourning, moving on. They're universal themes. They're very, very various themes that everybody has experienced in their lives in one way or the other. But for me, we had to express it with a very powerful internal performances. I think it's very important empathy. I think the audience, when they come to watch Robot Dreams, they have to connect with Dog the moment they meet him. And they have to connect with Robot the moment Robot comes to life. And you have to believe that they're best friends forever, or there's a love relation, whatever, however you want to interpret the story. And if you make the substitutions and you become, I want the audience to become the characters that appear in the film. I want the film that the audience makes substitutions. So in a way, the film is the audience. The audience complete the film, and every audience puts part of their own lives in the film, and that's what I would like to connect with the audience that way.
It's interesting you mentioned it's based on a graphic novel. I was unaware when I first saw the movie, but I've been a fan of the non-superhero comics
Okay.
for years. Love and Rockets, the Hernandez
Yeah,
brothers.
I love Rock Rockets.
Oh, love Love and Rockets, and then Eight Ball, Dan Clowes.
Well, Daniel Cloud, the thing that you and I, we are generation that we explore similar graphic novels. Yeah, I love Daniel Close, and I love that one. Eh,
So my suspicion is true that you also love those comics and neat stuff. Peter Baggy, like
yeah,
everyone thinks of comics as superheroes.
yeah.
And that's not true. There's a whole world of non-superhero comics, and I love these these types of non-superhero comics that actually look at sometimes the banality of life and insights and just so much of it. Empathy, you mentioned empathy. That's a huge part of this movie. I don't even recall if I even know, is the dog male or female. Like, it didn't strike me. I don't know.
It's not
Like,
important. I think we wanted to that genre wouldn't be an aspect, that you can connect with any of the characters and you can think the gender, it doesn't really matter. But as you said, yeah, definitely this film, I say it's a love letter to New York, but I would say it's a love letter to graphic novels too and to comics. And because we wanted the audience that they love comics to experience the film that is a comic come to life. That's why it had to be hand drawn, it had to be 2D. That's why it needed to have solid colors. That's why it needed to have deep focus. Everything is in focus. I didn't play with the focus. It had to feel like something like a comic book in moving images.
I was so engrossed in the world, and you're right. New York is practically a character in the film. I have to ask, can you say anything about your next project? I'm so excited to hear what you might be doing next.
Well, the thing is that I've been 1 year traveling all over the world with the film since Cannes of last year. And
Uh-huh.
finally, it's going to open in the States this Friday. And next week, it's opening in China. So those are one of the two last big markets. So I'm probably this summer is going to be the moment I'm going to stop and going through all my ideas and scripts and books that I like. I don't know. I need a moment of like procrastination and thinking about my only goal is to surprise you. And all my films, this is my fourth film. They're written and directed by me, and come like an alien inside of me. They're really personal and something that I want to tell. So I just hope to surprise you again. And if you haven't seen I made a film called Blancanieves 10 years ago. It's
Mhm.
also dialogue free. And in the meantime, until I make another film, if you like Robot Dreams, I recommend you to watch Blancanieves.
Thank you so much for your time. One last quick question. When you do the version of the film for China or other countries, does anything change other than maybe the text with the title?
Yes, it didn't change anything. You know, they just changed the titles. But I know, for example, in UK, they had a problem with the finger. So they had to put some kind of like a shadow on the
Oh,
finger because if they wanted to have for if children wanted to go to see the film, if they had a finger, it had to be over 13 or something like that. So,
right.
but that's the only anecdote I can tell. The rest, nothing has changed. They just changed the titles from country to country.
Pablo, congrats. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris. You know, I love Film Threat. It's cool, and I love you have you have a Batman behind you, the classic one. So just I like the shrine. You have a little shrine behind you.
Yeah, yeah, I do. All my stuff.
I'm here at Neon often.
Oh, yeah, Neon, they have such good taste. Such good taste in what they pick up. So congratulations.